Welcome back to LarryB YouTube channel. In today's class, I'm going to learn how to make this beautiful hairline dress with bell sleeve. Okay, it has like an hairline sleeve as well, and then it has this beautiful collar around the neckline, and it goes all the way to the hem. The hairline is kind of fitted at the waistline, as we are seeing, and then it becomes free towards the hem of the dress. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. This is something you like to learn. Kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is an A-line dress and it does not have a zipper, so I have folded my front and back together. My fabric is folded into 4 as we have seen, and it's a bit fitted on the waistline, so it's not so big, but at the same time it's a free dress. It's an A-line dress. So now I'm going to take my shoulder measurements. My shoulder is 8 inches, so I'm going to mark 8 inches here, and then from there I'm going to mark my neckline as well. So my neck width is going to be around 3.25. I don't want it so wide, and it also has a collar, so I have it there. So for the back, my neck depth is going to be around 1 inch for the back, and then for the front, it's a V neckline. It's going to be around 7 inches for me. So with my curve now, I'm going to connect my back neckline first. It's a crepe fabric, so it's shifting. I hope my chalk is visible. And then I'm going to connect the front V neckline as well. The fabric is stretchy. Okay, so now on my shoulder, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then I'll connect that to my neck point, and then from there we'll start taking our vertical measurement. So like I said, it's a bit fitted on the waistline. The person I'm making this for has a big tummy kind of, so I'm not going to be placing that fitness on the waistline exactly. I'm just going to place it on the under bust, so that's going to give you that fitting that you want. So if you're working for a client that is on the big side, sometimes when you want to make dresses like peplum, it's better to just place it like under the bust, on the under bust, or just 1 or half an inch below the under bust. It gives it more fitting that way. So the under bust is around 14 inches. I'm just going to place the waistline at around 15 inches, which is here. So now the armhole is 8.5 inches, so I'm placing it there, and then I'm going to connect for my armhole and my waistline. So I don't need the hip measurement actually, because it's not going to be fitted around the hip line. So from the waistline, it's just going to be a flare kind of all down. So here I'm taking the bust measurement. The bust is 44 divided by 4 is 11. So this 11 here, I'm adding half an inch for ease and 1 inch for my seam allowance. So the waistline is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So I have 9 inch here. I'm going to add around half an inch or 1 inch for ease. So I'm adding 0.75 for ease, and then 1 inch for seam allowance. So from there, I'm going to connect from my bust to my waist, and then using my curved ruler, I'm going to go ahead and draw my armhole curve as well. So now, like I said, we're not going to have our hip line measurement because it's not fitted at the hip, so I'll just move straight to the hem of the dress. So the hem is the length that you want for your dress, which in this case is my knee length. So from the waistline, my actual hip measurement is 45. So 45 divided by 4 is 11.5. I think 11.5. So this is my actual hip measurement, 11.5. So depending on how big you want it to be, you can add 3, 4 or 5 inches to it. So for me, this is 11.5 inches here, so I have extra 3.5 inches added to it to make it a bit flare. So now from my waist here, from the waistline that I shaped, I hope you can see it, from the waistline that I shaped here, I'm going to just connect in a diagonal form like this to my hip. So like I said, if you want yours bigger, instead of adding just 3.5 inches like me, You can add more, you can add up to 6 or even 7 inches if you want it really big. So now that I've connected this, I'm just going to come in with my scissors, and then I'll cut out this shape that I have. Okay, so after cutting it out, you can see the shape that we have there. Here I'm going to cut out my armhole as well, and then I'll cut my back neckline first, and then I'll remove the back so that I can cut the front neckline. So after removing the back, I'm going to place it again. Okay, I'm here to cut my shoulder slope, so please, I want to cut the shoulder slope together. I'll rearrange it before I cut out my front neckline. So it is rearranged now. I'm going to cut out the shoulder slope, and then now I remove the back to cut my front neckline. So the depth of your front neckline can be as much as you want. Okay, so like I said, a collar is going through this all the way to the front. So what I'm going to do now is just to open my center front. Okay, I'm going to put the center front on fold, and then I'm going to open it all the way to the hem. There are several ways you can actually do this, but this is one of the simplest ways, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm arranging it well, and then from my center here, from where my neckline stops, I'm just going to slash it open to the hem. Okay, but please make sure you arrange it well. You don't want one side bigger than the other. Okay, so after arranging it well like this to my satisfaction, I'll come in with my scissors, and then I'm going to slash the center front open. Just like this. So now we have our center front to be 2 pieces. Okay, this is the first piece and this is the second piece. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and join the shoulder. So I'll place my front and back on each other, and then I'm going to sew the shoulder together before we sew our collar around the neckline. Okay, so now the shoulder is joined together, as you can see. So what you're going to do now is to go ahead to measure round the center front. You take your tape now, and then you measure from your center front. Remember, it's open now. You measure through the neckline of the center front, then you measure to the back neckline as well, then you take it back to the front. So basically, we are measuring through everywhere that the collar is going to pass through. So that measurement that you have, you're going to go use it to cut out the collar. I have cut mine out now. So this is my collar, and then I decided to iron an interface to this. So the length of this is the total length that I measured, and then the width is 5 inches. Okay, so because by the time I fold this, I'm going to fold half an inch inward, so I want to have 2 inches by the time I'm done. So just like this, I have folded it into 2, and then I folded in my half an inch, so I have a length of 2 inches. So now what I'm going to do now is to take this to my sewing machine, and then I'm just going to tuck it in at the center. I'm trying to get my center. This is my center point. So now I'll place my front now, and then place it in between this that I've done like this, and then I'm going to sew it all around. So you sew very closely throughout your front, then to the back neckline, and then you come back to the front. Okay, so I have sewn it round now, as you can see. So you can see that it is now knit both in and out. So there are several ways you can place this collar, like I said, but this is one of the easiest way you can do this. So now the next thing is to arrange the shoulder together. You make sure that they align. Okay, I'm just going to place something on this because it's a bit slippery. So now after arranging the shoulder, I'm going to measure my 7 inches neckline. Okay, I can see it here, and then I'm just going to place it like this on that 7 inches mark where my neckline stops, which is here. So I'll just place this on it with a tip like this, and then I'll go ahead from there. You can see that my neckline now is clearly defined. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead now and then place them on each other the tip like this, and then I will sew it all the way to the hem. Okay, so now I'll sew it all the way to the hem. So as you can see now, I have sewn it together, but instead of placing it on each other to sew, I don't want to have a seam line on my center. So what I did was just to place them against each other, and then from that 7 inches I started sewing it inwards like this, you can see. So I just closed it like a dart, so that that place is going to be neatly closed, and it will give me that V shape that I want. So you can see the V shape that I have there. So from there I just sew it all the way to the hem. So turning it out now, this is what it looks like. You just go ahead to iron it. So now this is almost done. What I just need to do now is to pull this on fold and then sew it by the side, so that I can now cut my A-line sleeve as well. So for the sleeve, there are several ways you can actually fold it. But I'm folding mine in bias form. We have done several A-line sleeve on the channel, so you can use slash and spread method. You can just do it manually, or you just fold like this. So instead of folding my fabric like this, I'm just folding it in bias like this. As you can see, my armhole is 8.5. I'm adding 1 inch allowance to that, and that's going to give me 9.5 inches. So here the sleeve length is 22. I'm going to be leaving 1 inch. I'm cutting 21 because I'm still going to be taping the edge with 1 inch of my plain fabric. So now I'm making sure that I have up to 21 inches here, so which is here. So here I'm just going to mark my straight line. I'm using freehand for this, and I'll check. So I have about 10 inches, which is enough for me. So on this open part here, I'm going to go down by 4 inches, 3.5 for my cap's height, and then here I'm going to just connect to form my armhole curve. Okay, so now this A shape that I have here, you can see is already bent. I'm just going to follow it all the way to the hem, and then from here you can now measure your 21 inches so that you can have it uniform. So I have 21 inches here. I'm measuring the same 21 inches here as well, and then I'm going to cut it out. So this is how I'm cutting my sleeve. And like I said, you can use slash and spread method. There are so many methods you can use to do that. Okay, so I figured my chalk may not be visible enough. So after folding my fabric, you can see I measured 3.5 inches for my calf side, and then I connected like this. So from there, from the head of the sleeve here, I measured the 21 inches all around like this, and then I marked it out. Then I already have my A shape design here, so I'll just go ahead and cut it. So after cutting it out, I have my plain fabric here folded already, so you can see. So now I'm just going to go ahead and use it to tape the hem of the sleeve, and then I'll just sew it to my dress. Okay, so I have gone ahead to tape the hem of the sleeve, and this is what the sleeve is looking like. You can see the sleeve now, and I have also fixed it to the dress. So this is the full feel of our dress, our A-line dress. Okay, mine is not so big. I used around 2 to 2.5 yards for this, but if you want yours to be bigger, I already explained how to come about that. So this is the other sleeve. So this is the other sleeve. I'll just go over to the ironing table now and give it a good press, then take it to the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what our beautiful A-line dress looks like now. You can see that it is fitted on the waistline, and then from the waistline it's free towards the hem, so you can see how free it is on the hem. So like I said, you can decide to make yours as full as you want. You just need to increase your hip measurement as much as you want. You can see the A-line sleeve that we have there now. You can see how lovely this is looking, and this is the color that we use. So I used satin fabric for mine because I don't have crepe. I would really prefer to see this in maybe a crepe fabric or a shiny face, I don't know, but this is what satin gave me, and this is what the back looks like as well. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.